Good morning, friends. I hope all of you are fine and all right and having a nice day. So today we are going to start from today onward one of the very interesting topic of community medicine as well as public health. I think this topic is one topic where our national health policy and national health mission itself revolves around, that is family planning or family welfare, which we call. So first and the foremost, before I go into the detail of the family planning or the family welfare, many times people think family planning means only one thing. Because there is a lot of publicity going on by government of India, state governments and the local body. That is, family planning means controlling the number of children. Hum do, hamare do. That is what everybody thinks. Family planning means only the controlling the childbirth, but that is not true. When I start the lecture and when as we proceed ahead, you will come to know family planning is a very vast and a wide subject, and it does not mean only the control of births. It means many more things than that. That is why it is actually the family welfare is the centerpiece, or what I can see, the like a masterpiece in the museum. So family planning is a centerpiece of our entire national health mission, rural health mission, urban health mission, whatever we are planning at the national level or the local bodies level, everything almost revolves around the family planning and family welfare. So we'll go more into the details, but now I'll come to the first part, that is the definition. As I said, the definition itself says family planning practices means giving the couple the opportunity to determine the number of children in their family, determining age of parent when the first child should be born. They have got right to decide when the child should be born, the timing, spacing between the births. What should be the time gap between the two births? Maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So the couple has full right to decide time of first pregnancy, time of gap or interval between the two pregnancies. They have right to decide number of births in their family. They have even right to decide to complete their family structure, which will be complete family structure will be with the help of terminal methods of family planning, which we are going to discuss. And ultimately, the welfare of the entire family. That is what is meant by the family planning. It is not just the controlling the birth, it means a lot of things. Now, the next thing we are going to discuss is basic human rights. When we talk about the human rights, we talk about the rights of human, roti kapda makan, roti kapda makan, right to eat food, right to have a residence, right to have so many essential things. These are basic human rights. There are children's rights, there are rights for the adolescents, rights for the aged people, women's right, the rights for deprived people. So many rights, human rights, the United Nations works for that. So now remember here, United Nations or WHO is making it very clear. Family planning is a basic human right of each and every married couple, particularly the essential human right of a woman during her reproductive age group. So woman can decide on her own number of pregnancies in her life, interval between the two pregnancies, time of first pregnancy. She can even decide the timing of completing her families, no more children, her rights. So remember this. This is an added dimension to the family planning or the family welfare program, that is basic human rights. So these rights are widespread. Then comes Another part, scope of family planning services. As I said, whenever we go out anywhere in any part of India, a lot of publicity is there on PRO, health education, health welfare, everything focuses around the family. You must have seen on so many pictures, very commonly seen picture, very beautiful pictures also. Husband and wife is standing, one child in father's lap, another child in mother's lap. Hum do, hamare do. Very widely known concept and popular concept all over the India. Earlier, this concept is even today our ultimate goal. Hum do, hamare do. When we say hum do, hamare do, we definitely mean that we have, there will be at least one girl child in the family. When we say hum do, hamare do, does not mean two male child. It doesn't revolve around the male children. The concept is not that. Concept is if there are two children, definitely there will be a one girl child. So the scope of family planning means what? As I already said, family welfare, family structure, family insurance, all family related issues, the nutrition, housing, education, children's welfare, children's insurance, children's social security measures, mother's social security measures, mother's welfare policies. So all these are inclusive of family planning services. When we are talking about that, we have forgotten one another part. Many times we are only speaking about controlling the birth or how it should be done. This is what you feel. But there is one aspect which you must know. That is the couples who are childless couples. So giving them the services in such a way that they are going to have a child in their family. So these are the couples who are called as that is the services given for the infertility. Infertility out of any reason, biological reason, other reasons, or whatever reason. So those services are also included in family planning. Every couple has a right to have at least one child. So even that is why in vitro fertilization, test tube babies, so you will find so many other things, even the surrogate mothers, adoptions. So all these adoption of the child, all these are part of family planning services. So now I have covered a wide range. Now we'll go next. The next, now you can see exactly what I was saying, the scope of family planning services. So I'll start first, the first part of family planning services. If this is there, then next everything comes. Empower the woman with the knowledge. So she has ability to take the decision. Improve the infant health, improve the maternal health, decrease HIV/AIDS, save the environment, support the partnerships, end hunger and the poverty, end hunger and the poverty in the family, for the mother, for the child. So it covers everything. So family planning services you can just see. And last comes the education, right to education, right to study, go to the school. So increase the education is right to education. So rights of the woman and rights of the education you can see almost going together hand in hand. So these are the various dimensions of the family planning services. We'll go to the next slide. Health aspects of family planning. Now we'll come to the health aspects. Now we covered so many aspects of the family planning services which we are giving. Now we'll come to the health related aspects of the family planning. How it helps whose health? First, woman's health. Second, fetal health. Third, infant and the child health. So when we are talking about the family planning services, many times everybody thinks it's related to the pregnancy, it's related to the delivery, it is related to the birth control. But we have forgotten other people who are around these family planning services. So first, and the foremost is, of course, woman's self. As I said, she has been given the right to decide. By law, she has a right to get married after the age of 18, which is by law, it happens. Then she has a right to decide her time of first pregnancy. She has a right to decide the second pregnancy also, the spacing of the births. She has right to decide the number of children in the family, whether two, three, four. So women's health. And she has right to decide which method she is going to adopt for the completing her family life. So women's health. Why we are doing this? This is to give the woman to recover from the delivery and come back to the normal and go for the next delivery. So women's health is a very important aspect of our family planning services. Second is the fetal health. Now here we are talking about the people who are walking, talking with us, mother and the child. We have not thought of somebody who is very much existent there, but in the mother's womb. What about the child who is a fetus from the time of conception till the delivery? Child is already existing. A fetus is there, a living entity is there. So taking care of the fetus and preventing intrauterine fetal growth retardation, preventing intrauterine fetal deaths, preventing premature births, premature deliveries, preventing abortions, preventing multiple miscarriages, preventing amniocentesis and termination of human fetuses. Any killings or any form of such activities which affects the female fetus has to be prevented. So remember this, all now these are all legal laws. Family planning is the only subject in medical sciences where you will find multiple laws. The laws are so strict as far as the fetal health is concerned. We'll speak about it later on. It has got a full proof protection by the law. You are not supposed to do anything which is going to harm the fetus in the first place. Secondly, you are not going to do anything which is going to harm the female fetus at all or terminate the pregnancy on that ground. Remember this. So second comes the fetal health. Then comes the infant and the child health. Infant and the child health, I already told in my earlier lectures, Indian children, how many children face the first birthday itself is a big issue in our country. The infants, higher infant mortality rate in our country is a very big concern. Not all children born reach to the age of first year birthday. That is one. Child health. When I mean child health, we are talking about the under 5 children or preschool age group children, under 5 or under 6 children. These children are vulnerable by many means. Poor nutrition, multiple infections, poor care, poor availability of the health services to them. That makes them quite vulnerable. So remember this, we are talking about the group which is infant and the children who are very sensitive and susceptible to their environment and culture, taboos, various health related malpractices. So third is infant and the child. So now remember, now what we are talking about, family planning, but we are taking care of woman's health, fetal health, infant and child health. Now we'll go to our main concern, that is woman's health. I already told you, she has full right to decide. Now what comes here now? Woman's health, there are some issues here. Number one, unwanted pregnancies. What to do about the unwanted pregnancies? What she will do? What she is permitted by law. When she can terminate the pregnancy, when she cannot terminate the pregnancy. What is the law? When it should be done. So first issue is unwanted pregnancy. Second is the limiting of the number of births and the proper spacing. Remember, unwanted pregnancies, when they happen, there is an act called as a medical termination of the pregnancy. Under MTP Act, only any woman has right to terminate the pregnancy. She is not supposed to use the illegal methods of using some local dye, local ladies or local some monk doctors who will use some kind of drugs or some kind of instruments to terminate the pregnancy, harm her life, harm the life of the child. So such things are not allowed by to make it foolproof, particularly in the rural parts of India. Government has established MTP Act, which is a foolproof act with which only she can go ahead with the termination of the pregnancy. Then comes the limiting of the number of births and the proper spacing. Yes, that is her right. She has to decide when she should have her first child. She should decide what is the interval between the two births or how many children she is going to have, 2, 3, what is her plan. She has been given that full rights and the proper spacing. Timing of the birth. Why the timing of the birth is important? Everybody all over the world celebrate their births and everything. Birthdays are celebrated. But do you understand one thing, that is what is very important is the our focus should be not just giving the birth to the child. We have to think of first unborn child, health of the unborn child, that is a fetal health. That is why the timing of birth is very important, because the fetus should get the proper nutrition, proper nourishment, proper medical care, and a normal fetus should be born with a normal weight at the time of birth without any complication under the normal circumstances, full term in the institution. This is the utmost target of the fetal health. We are taking care of fetus before even the birth, pre-birth care, antenatal care, that is a fetal health care. Then child is born. Once the child is born, child's health is also very important. Child's health, you cannot run around for the child's health after the birth. You have to take care by means of timing of the birth. More the interval between the two pregnancies, fetal health is also secured, child's health is also secured. Lesser the interval between the births, frequent pregnancies, multi-gravida, multi-para, what happens? Fetal health is very badly affected. It is deteriorated. More cases of premature births, miscarriages, abortions, low birth weight babies, then many complications immediately after the birth in case of multiparas, multigravidas. So remember this, timing of births very important. Child health. It has been found all over the world. Wherever there is a proper timing of birth is practiced, proper interval between the birth is practiced, the child's health is secured. Child is secured. Child's health is not secured only after the birth. Child's health is secured at the time the child is fetus itself. So child's health is not just after the birth, you have to properly plan the family planning services. So born child comes as a full-term child, proper weight, without any complications, uncomplicated pregnancy, uncomplicated delivery, healthy mother, antenatal period, healthy child. So that is our concept. Then comes, we are talking about the various concept. I am giving in the detail the welfare concept. What is the welfare concept of all the things we are talking right now? Mother's health, fetal health, child's health, everything come together. Then what should be done? What we should take the action? What should be our line of action? So the line of action here is first, small family norm. Smaller the family, better is arranging the health care for the child, health care for the pregnant mother, then giving the health services to the mother, to the child, giving education to the children, giving the various family welfare measures to the children. So all this comes under the small family norm. Then comes eligible couples. Before even you go for small family norm, you should know who are the people. What is your target? Your target is not a small child. No, target is not a geriatric mother or geriatric lady. you are not targeting them. You are not even targeting the young girls or the adolescents whom you are targeting, particularly in our country. Our births are correlated with the marriages. It is always in India, it is related to the marriages or the religious practices. So eligible couples. Eligible couples are those who are married as well. A mother is in the reproductive age group 15 to 45. This is what we plan, 30 years span of a mother. She is in the eligible, she is in the category of the eligible couples. When a wife, a lady, is the age group of 15 to 45, that particular couple becomes the eligible couple. So our target of entire family planning services is based on targeting them. First is eligible couples, target couple. Who are the target couples? They are already eligible, that you know. But who are the target couple? Already those who have given birth to one child, those who have given already birth to two child. Is now they must follow the family planning or family welfare norms. They must do that. So we use the term called as a couple protection rate. You can see here, CPR is a couple protection rate. Are they following the family planning norms, family welfare norms, that they should know after one child, either they should complete the family or they should delay the birth of the second child. If the second child is born, they must go for the final methods, the terminal methods of family planning or the family welfare, so that now their family life is complete and they should not go for the third couple. So that is the couple protection rate. Then the national population policy. Here we have mentioned national population policy 2000. Actually, the census report of 2021 has still not come. We don't have a current data. So we cannot speak about the national population right now. What is the current state? We are in December speaking about this particular topic. So we'll now focus upon what are those targets and the norms and what government is planning. That is National Population Policy 2000, because we don't have a current data. So what it says, can you see the map of India? The goals of National Population Policy. National Population Policy goal is, number one is using the targeting. First is targeting the couples, effective couple protection rate, targeting the couples in that category. Then second is net reproduction rate of 1, which I already mentioned. Third is having a small family norm implementation all over India, targeting those couples who have completed the family but they have not followed the family planning or family welfare measures. And last target is we vouch for reduction of births slowly, steadily, so that our growth rate also comes down. And next reproduction rate comes down. These are the actually the ultimate goals of National Population Policy. So I think I have given you a rough information about what is the National Population Policy. Even the National Population Policy of 2021 will not be also different than this. The basic principle remains the same, what was there in National Population Policy of 2000 and what is going to be the National Population Policy of 2021. So if you have any questions related to this, you can please ask me these questions.